Hi everyone, and welcome to MockCat, where you get directly mentored and coached by 99.9 plus percentilers. In yesterday's video, I walked you through the CAT exam basics, the structure, the syllabus, the marking scheme, and what to expect. In case if you haven't watched it, make sure to check that out first to get the full picture, because today we are diving deep into the three sections that we have in the CAT exam. I'll be talking about what are the questions that are most important and what you should prioritize to make sure that you get a 99 percentile or higher in CAT 2025. The CAT exam is currently a 2-hour paper with 40 minutes each in a fixed order: VARC, then DILR, and then Quant. The verbal ability and reading comprehension section has 24 questions, that's higher than the other two sections. And here you will have a 2:1 split. 16 RC questions in the format of 4 RCs with 4 questions each, and this is something which has stayed consistent. The other 8 questions are the verbal ability questions, and this is where variation is brought in, either in the question types by introducing or taking away question types, or by playing with the number of questions. And that is why it is important to prepare all of the things which could come up over here. For what I would definitely recommend that you go for is summary, where you have a paragraph and you have to find the answer option which gives you the best essence. Sentence insertion or paragraph completion, where you have a paragraph with multiple blanks and you have a sentence which has been taken away from this paragraph, and you got to choose where it fits best, which one of the blanks. And then you have the type in the answer or short answer question, starting with jumbled paragraphs, where you have 4 sentences that are jumbled up and you have to punch in the right sequence, something like 3241 or 1423. This is of course tougher without options as it is in CAT, but that is probably why there is a +3 and a 0. You don't get negative marks if you get it wrong, unlike the other questions. And similarly, you also have odd one out, where you have 5 sentences which are jumbled up, and here you don't need to order it. You need to find that one sentence which is an outlier, which is not part of the sequence that the other 4 sentences are. Now, it's important to remember that in CAT 2024, we didn't have jumbled paragraphs, but we have had it every year for a long time. This is also something which comes up in other exams, but even from a CAT perspective, I would say it's definitely important to practice on the off chance that they do bring it back, which is something which has happened with other question types. And it's also something which will help you to practice for the other sentence structure type of questions. But now let's talk about the most important topic, and that is RCs. RC questions are 2/3 of the verbal paper, very close to 1/4 of the entire CAT paper, effectively making it the most important topic. This is also something which is very different from our school RCs, which primarily were easier and had direct questions. Here the reading level is pretty high. You will have all of the RCs taken from overseas sources and spread across different genres. We will have genres that we are comfortable with, but there will also be a lot of new ones. And because these are from overseas sources, we need to understand the context, we need to understand their culture, their slang, the good things there, the problems there, all of which tend to be very different from what we are exposed to. So to prepare for this, what I would recommend is to start with the author's viewpoint that you have at MockCat itself, where every day you are getting a new reading link which is being taken from the sources that CAT takes, and you can also filter across genre, across difficulty level, and even across reading time. So what you could do is you could start out with something like, say, a science and a socio-culture, which are typically the more common genres, and you could start with like easy, less than 10 minutes, and then upskill from there. An important part that this gives you is the author's POV, which is something which I create myself. And you can read this and get into the habit of understanding what is the author's view. That's important because the author's view is what is going to help you solve the inferential questions that come up in CAT. So you're not trying to summarize, you're not looking at the facts. Those are not needed because it's an open book exam. The RC is right in front of you. But you have to figure out the author's view and use that to reason out the right answer from the 4 choices. And practicing the daily POV is what will help you not just with your reading speed, but it will help you get familiar across all of these genres, across overseas sources. It will bring in the discipline of figuring out the author's view when you're taking up mocks and in the actual exam. And of course, it is going to boost your accuracy. Now, if you're in our unlimited pack, what you will also be doing is sending me the POV one-on-one so that you can directly get my feedback, do it on a daily basis, and boost your score from here. Once this bit is done, or perhaps in parallel with this, you will be solving RCs and other questions by practicing the techniques. Specifically for RCs, techniques can include looking at the different question types and solving them appropriately, reading the important paragraphs, prioritizing certain keywords, maybe even taking notes if it demands it or if that is something you are comfortable with, eliminating options, because a lot of times in the CAT questions we are stuck between two different options. And of course, you have a lot more techniques when it comes to the sentence structure type of questions, where we'll try to figure out the first sentences, we'll be trying to link different sentences, find gaps, find sequences and things like that. Now all of these are of course covered in our lessons and practiced in our live classes. But because the RC and summary together are about 18 to 19 questions, particularly the RC questions, the author's POV is something which will be really beneficial to start with instead of directly just getting into RC solving. And now let's come to the next section, data interpretation and logical reasoning. This is the most unfamiliar section for most of us because we have never studied it in school, unlike quant or verbal. You might have solved puzzles, you might have played Sudoku, or you might even have done placement aptitude test. But CAT DILR is a different beast. It is more complex, layered, tougher, and it has other features which also make scoring tricky. So before we talk about how you can prepare, how you can get the minimums or the 99 percentile preferably, let's understand the format itself. This is a section where there have been changes, so I'll talk about the last 3 years. In CAT 2022 and 23, we saw 4 sets of 5 questions each, which is a total of 20 questions. Whereas in CAT 2024, this changed to 5 sets. 2 sets with 4 questions and 3 sets with 5 questions each, which is 22 questions. And that is actually the important part which you would have seen now. There are no single questions in DILR. Every question is part of a particular case or 4 or 5 question set, which means you can solve questions and answer them only if you have solved that entire case fully. Now, the way the case works is you will have a background, some sort of a setup, and then you will have clues, and then you will have these questions. Lot of cases could have tables or graphs or charts, sometimes with complete information or sometimes deliberately left incomplete with things in the clues to help you figure it out. And this section is not about calculation. Even the DI part is more interpretation heavy, and you have a calculator, right? So it's about interpreting the data, logical reasoning as the name suggests, connecting the clues and getting everything out of them. They will give you typically just enough to solve the case. And now let's understand what these cases are going to come out of. Typically, CAT has more LR sets than DI sets, but we've had at least one DI case and the DI case will be easy. If you have 2 DI cases as last year, typically there will be at least one easy DI case. Now, the topics will include, as I said, tables, interpretative tables, Venn diagrams, graphs, charts, caselets, and so on. But of these, interpretative tables is probably the most important. Similarly, on the LR side, you will have arrangements, ranking, matching, selection, team and events, but numerical reasoning becomes your most important topic with typically at least one case. So now that we have understood the format, let's put the scores and percentiles into perspective. Because there was a difference in the format, let's look at CAT 22 and 23 first. In these years, scoring 12 to 14 marks, which is just shy of one set, is enough for you to get 80-85 percentile and clear the cutoffs. Last year, because of more sets and an easier paper, that cutoff went up to 17 to 19 marks. So that is just under 2 full sets. So maybe, 2 sets, 2 4-question sets with a couple of errors. 99th percentile in CAT 22 and 23 was around 27-28 marks. So that's a little less than 2 sets. Whereas last year, 36 marks were required to get the 99th percentile. So essentially, 1 to 1.5 cases is enough to clear cutoffs. 2 or 2.5 cases is enough to get you the 99th percentile. If like Vignesh, you are getting to 3 cases, then that is typically 99.5 to 99.9 plus territory. But here is the catch with DILR. Solving a set will take you typically at least 10 to 20 minutes. And when the section has 40 minutes, if you are choosing the wrong case or you are not able to let go of a case where you are stuck easily, you might end up wasting all your time and getting low marks or even 0 marks. And that is where consistent effort is something which pays off. Now, this is not something which I have done because I coach for the verbal part, but Vignesh, who scored 99.9 plus percentile in DILR multiple times, says if you've solved 100 full-length CAT style DILR cases, then you're good for at least one set, or you're good to clear the cutoff, even if that means more than one set. But if you're upping the ante and you are preparing and practicing 200 to 400 cases, that will typically get you 2 or 2 plus cases, which is your 95 to 99 plus percentiles. Now, if this seems like a lot, if you break it up, this is just 1 to 2 cases from now till CAT. And we've got you covered at MockCat. You have about 100 solved cases in the lessons, all with videos. Similarly, 200 more in mocks and sectionals, again with videos. Now, given that all of these have video solutions by Vignesh, you can understand how a 99.9 plus percentiler in this section thinks, how he looks at the background, looks at the questions, how he picks a case, how he gets the maximum possible out of the clues. And trust me, I can tell you this. When I took CAT, I got 99.58 percentile, and my DLR and quant scores were then higher than my verbal scores. But even I have seen how he is much faster than I am at understanding the case and really getting everything out of it, interpreting the clues, and even sometimes looking at the questions to figure things out. And that is what you will get at MockCat. Add to that, you have live classes every week, and you have your practice questions spread across easy, medium, and hard levels. You have your daily quizzes, your score boosters. So there's a lot more than you might even need. So to sum up, remember that DILR is not only about speed or accuracy, it's also about judgment. It's okay to spend 10 minutes on a case which you are leaving, but if you are able to figure it out quickly, that's really helpful. And you have to build in the discipline to leave the case as well. The DLR structure itself is such where this test-taking strategy, this discipline is something which is very important. So with practice, you are going to spot the easy sets and be able to solve them faster. You will build in the discipline to leave hard ones easily, especially because there will be other cases which you realize are solvable, and you'll have practiced enough to trust your judgment and your instincts. Now, you might be wondering what are the easy cases, especially because I've told you that they vary year by year and even slot by slot. So that's something which I'm going to take up in a future video where we get into the test taking strategy aspect. So make sure that you have subscribed and you're following the channel. Now let's talk about quantitative aptitude, which is the third and final section of CAT. This section has 22 singlet questions, which means that you're solving each question individually. There are no sets. Singlet questions is something which CAT has consistently had, and the number of questions also has stayed standard since CAT 2021. It's a format that works well, and it's likely to stay that way. Now, in case if you are panicking, saying that, math is not my core strength, or this is something which I haven't done for long, maybe, you haven't done it after 10th or something, don't worry about it. There's no JEE level syllabus or nothing even coming from 11th and 12th maths. This is all high school maths. 6 to 10 questions will be coming from arithmetic. So about 30 to 40% are going to come from a topic which we've done for long. Things like percentages, interest, averages, time and work, profit and loss. These are things which we've all done for multiple years in school. And then the next set is algebra. We'll typically see 4 to 8 questions coming in from algebra and somewhere around 3 to 5 questions coming from geometry. You can typically also expect 2 to 3 questions coming from numbers and modern maths. These will be fewer, but certain core concepts like percentages, averages, linear equations, and even Venn diagrams will be utilized in both quant and DILR. So it's probably important to get ahead on these topics early. Now, this was the good news for us, right? That these are topics which we are all comfortable with. We've all done it for long. And even if we've left them for some time, this is something which you can definitely pick up. And if this is an area that you are weak in, especially if you have MockCat packs, I'll give you a recommendation as to how you can start. But the challenge when it comes to quant is twofold. First off, the number of topics themselves are a lot. So if you take arithmetic itself, there's about 8-9 topics, algebra, geometry, each will have about 5 topics. So it's totaling up to a large number. And this is also a section where some amount of memorization is required because you have concepts, you have formulae, and it'll also help you with your speed if you're able to do a bit of mental math. And that also includes learning tables, bars, and things like these, right? So this is definitely something which will take more time and effort as compared to to probably the other sections. The other issue is that even though we are all comfortable with these topics, even though arithmetic, algebra, geometry form the majority of the paper and we've studied, forget these, all of the topics in school, the majority of people, even with good marks in 10th, are not able to get to a high score. If I look at CAT 2023, where quant was tough, 80th percentile was at 8 marks, which means 80% of people didn't get to 3 questions right and get 9 marks. 85th percentile was 12 marks, which is exactly 4 out of 22 questions. Even in CAT 2024, which was easier, 80th percentile was set at 12 marks, that's 4 questions, and 85th percentile was at 14 marks, which is just shy of 5 questions. So 85% of people were not able to finish 5 out of 22 questions when there were definitely more than 5 easy questions. The reason for the second part is because people don't prepare the right way. A lot of students feel that, hey, this is something which we've done in school, so I can just start with practicing concepts. People don't get into the test-taking strategy. People rush and make silly mistakes, not realizing that I'm not targeting finishing the paper. They might have other errors like solving things sequentially, doing it in the school method where we've been taught that every step is important. So all of these things come in. So how should you actually take up quant in such a way that you are beating not just 80-85% of people, but probably higher and aiming for that 99? And trust me, that's something which you definitely should do. And if you follow this method, you can get there, even though we have about 5.5 months left. Now, your quant prep should definitely start with arithmetic for 3 reasons. This is the largest chunk of the paper, about 30-40% of the questions. This is also something which we are more comfortable with. It's relatively easier, and even if you've forgotten it, it'll come back to you quickly, especially if you have video lessons. And these are also some of the faster questions to solve. So things like percentages, averages are, for example, much faster than, say, an inequalities or a permutation combination. So start with arithmetic, and this is the process which I will recommend. Do this not just for arithmetic, but for all of the sections, right? So first thing you're doing is you're going through the video lessons. These lessons themselves are split into modules for concepts. So in case if you are balancing work or college and you have less time, you can actually do 1 to 2 modules whenever you have time, or you take an evening or a weekend and push through the entire lesson. Make sure to pause the video and try out any solved examples which are there. Once the lesson is done, use the concept revision video, which will typically be a 15 to 30-minute video, to check how much of it you remember. So that's why Vignesh has explained all of the concepts again. So as you're watching, you can keep narrating and you can figure out if you remember it. And then once that is done, you go to the concept test. Now, a good rule of thumb for these concept tests as well as the concept narration is for your first pass, 50 to 70% of the concepts and a similar score is what you're targeting. If you are better, you will see your concept test marks to be more. Now, your concept tests are basically bridging the gap between you knowing the lesson and you being able to solve these questions in mocks and then in the final exam. This will expose you to all of the different conceptual questions under any topic which can come. And if you're getting 8+ in these, or preferably 9 or 10 on 10, then you know for sure that whatever the CAT examiners are throwing at you, you are able to solve them. So the video lessons, of course, but what is actually adding a lot of value is the concept revision videos and then the concept tests. And the concept revision videos are also videos which you will keep going back to. Now, once you're done with arithmetic, you will go to algebra and then geometry, and it's natural to forget some concepts. Plus, if you remember, I'd said for the first pass, anywhere from 50 to 70% is a good number to achieve 50 to 70% of the concepts. So when you're going back, you are not only revising the concepts, you're also remembering a little bit more. Now, it's tough for anybody to go through a 2 to 4 hour lesson once again and keep doing it every month. But a 15 to 30-minute video is extremely achievable. So make sure that you are revising every month, especially arithmetic and then algebra. This is what is going to keep your understanding fresh. So for quant, what I would recommend is build it in levels. Start with arithmetic, take this entire process, and then algebra, and then geometry, and so on. Along with all of this, of course, you have a lot of practice questions, score boosters, you have the speed modules, which will help you to get there faster, mock, sectionals, the works, right? So you will have access to all of these, but this becomes the first step for you. It's also important to remember that you should target finishing all of the topics. That's because of 2 reasons. One, this number of questions that I'm telling you is based on the past. CAT has never come outright and said, this is what we will give you. This is based on what they have done. Things can change. If I look at the last 3 years, for example, CAT 22 and 23, we had more algebra questions, But last year, they increased the number of arithmetic questions and they brought in more geometry, reducing algebra because they want to make the paper a little easier. The second reason is that easy questions are going to come from everywhere. Given that we have a 40-minute video and we want to finish as many questions as possible, we are targeting easier and faster solving questions. So if you have easy questions in geometry, numbers and modern maths, you want to have the ability to do them, which means you have to prepare. So this is something which you have to go for. Lastly, in the live classes, make sure to come live solve and ask any doubts. This is of course true for all of the 3 lessons. So start off on quant now. I would say if time permits, probably verbal and quant is what you're starting. Once the momentum is built, bring in DILR. Quant is where your initial preparation is a lot. Verbal and DILR is more about practice, preferably daily practice, daily POV and RCs on the verbal side to start with, and cases in DILR, probably starting with DIN, then going to LR, because you'll typically expect one easy case on the DI front. So that's it. Follow this plan, and this is what is getting you to a 99 percentile with less than 6 months to go. But if you want to go the whole way, you're targeting the top B schools and you want to get a good score in CAT, or you feel that you're facing difficulties with some of these sections and you want more guidance and mentorship, then sign up at mockcat.com, where you get directly coached and mentored by 99.9 plus percentilers, that is Vignesh and me. All the best.